password?
Texas. Keep them covered. They may be German.
Any line on these woods, Major?
I didn't hear the countersign.
Oh, Liga. Texas Liga.
Will this road take us to 3rd Bat headquarters?
Straight ahead.
Get going.
Just a minute. What is a Texas Liga, Major?
How's that?
I said, what's a Texas Liga?
It's some kind of baseball term.
What kind?
A safe hit just over the head of the infield.
Nobody asked you. How'd the Dodgers make out this year?
Hey, who's your commanding officer, soldier?
Whoever he is, he knows how the Dodgers made out.
Let's see your dog tags.
What?
Come on, we're not taking any chances.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Hey, what is this?
Was ist dein Name?
What kind of nonsense?
Schnell, Name, sprechen Sie.
Drop those rifles. You. Who's Betty Grable going with?
Cesar Romero.
Shut up. Who's the dragon lady?
She's in Terry and the Pirates.
What's a hot rod?
The hopped-up jalopy.
Hello, Joe. What do you know?
Just got back from a vaudeville show. I guess they're okay.
Thank you, Sergeant.
A PFC, Major. Praying for civilian. That's why I believe in being careful. May I suggest, sir, that you study up on baseball?
Yeah, I guess I'd better. And by the way, you might tell your buddy that Cesar Romero is out. She's married to Harry James.
So let's talk Wellman. He to me is the most interesting of all these. I don't know if he was a World War I fighter ace, but he was close to it.
He was, yes.
He was close to it, and it takes grit to just join the Foreign Legion in the first place, but to do it from being an ambulance driver, like to see that, so I can understand. I want to be discharged from the ambulance corps because of what you see, but to do that and go, I'm going to be a flyer. It's like, wow. Yeah. Probably went down in no man's land a couple of times. But do you have a favorite from him?
Boy, that's tough.
It is, isn't it, with him?
Hard to say. The two war movies he did, the story of G.I. Joe and Battleground, I probably lean toward Battleground, but
yeah,
the story of G.I. Joe has just got some phenomenal scenes in it. And when he filmed that, which is basically Ernie Pyle is the main character in that, and they use his name. And Wellman worked on the script and had Ernie Pyle as a consultant on it. They used a lot of soldiers that were heading into the Pacific campaign, and of course Ernie Pyle was killed in Okinawa. And a lot of the soldiers that appear in that film were killed in the Pacific campaign, the ones you see in that film. So I know that film meant a lot to Wellman. But Battleground, boy, you can't really beat that as a film. And Oxbow Incident, Wellman, it's like you go through each genre, you go, is there more, solemn and what's the word for an Oxbow Incident? I mean, the story of a lynching, and it is brutal, and doesn't pull any punches in the telling of that story.
No, and he should be commended for that, because when you watch the Oxbow Incident, and it's not a movie I would watch twice.
No, it's very tough to watch.
I remember sitting through that as a kid. It was on television thinking, it's not going to end like this, right?
Yeah.
And it does. It does. Yeah. And you're just like stunned. But man, the performances in that movie are just absolutely gripping. And it's just one of those things that everyone needs to see for the cinematic approach of a unthinkable situation. He captured it really well.
And the ending when Fonda, excuse me, when Fonda reads the letter, the lynching victims wrote to his wife at the end, and he shoots it, and it's across Henry Morgan's body. They're both wearing hats onto Henry Fonda, and the hat covers everything but Fonda's lips. It's a very unique shot. I mean, Fonda's face is half covered, but it's just his lips. It's almost like he said, I don't care what he looks like. I want everyone to concentrate on what he's saying. So Henry, just lean in, cover his eyes. I just want to see Fonda's lips moving.
Read it to you. My dear wife, Mr. Davies will tell you what's happening here tonight. He's a good man and has done everything he can for me. I suppose there's some other good men here too, only they don't seem to realize what they're doing. They're the ones I feel sorry for, because it'll be over for me in a little while, but they'll have to go on remembering for the rest of their lives. Man just naturally can't take the law into his own hands and hang people without hurting everybody in the world. Because then he's just not breaking one law, but all laws. Law's a lot more than words you put in a book, or judges or lawyers or sheriffs you hire to carry it out. It's everything people ever have found out about justice and what's right and wrong. It's the very conscience of humanity. There can't be any such thing as civilization unless people have a conscience. Because if people touch God anywhere, where is it except through their conscience? And what is anybody's conscience except a little piece of the conscience of all men that ever lived? I guess that's all I got to say, except kiss the babies for me and God bless you. Your husband, Donald.
And it's just a phenomenal shot. I mean, and I know at the time I've talked to a few people, and Zanuck, who, he approved the film and so forth, but he said, I think we've made a mistake. Nobody's going to want to see this movie. I don't think it was successful. I mean, critically it was, but, it's such a downer of a movie.
Yeah, great example of a work of art.
Oh,
Seriously questionable of whether or not you can enjoy it. But man, but also Ernie Pyle's story doesn't hold back in some ways. But I think Battleground is so instrumental in capturing that moment in time, including some of the surreal moments between the two sides and the nuts and all that stuff. We're going to surrender. No, I could see audiences embracing Battleground more because that's one where at the time they come out victorious,
And it's funny, that film too, there's a Wellman got in another studio controversy with that. That was really the time when Dory Sherry was coming into MGM in charge of production, and Louis B. Mayer was kind of on his way out. And Dory Sherry wanted to do Battleground, and Louis B. Mayer said no. And Dory Sherry, and with the Lowe's company that really ran MGM, they got in a bit of a battle. Sherry won that battle, and the film was a huge success, which didn't help Louis B. Mayer much. And I think the next year, Louis B. Mayer was kicked out of MGM, and Dory Sherry became the boss. So, and there was Wellman in the middle of a feud between, the two bosses at MGM, and yet there he goes. He did a beautiful job with that film.
Yeah, that's how it happens. Did you ever meet Wellman?
Actually, I called him on the phone. I wanted to do an interview with him, and and he picked up the phone. In those days, you could actually call people on a phone.
Yeah. Those were the days, weren't they?
He picked up the phone, and I told him who I was, that we wanted to film an interview with him. And he said he's got good days and bad days, but most of them were bad. He was in such pain, and he didn't want to be seen that way. And he just expressed how much pain he was in at the end. He died a month later.
Hi, I'm Jack Claff. Help us cure NMOSD and, with it, cancer. Please go to the Guthrie Jackson Foundation website and make a donation.